for having to restart the stream there. That was just so they could get the information of how the how the pro server crashed. Obviously, they want to get the statistics for that. We are currently in the AM lobby as of now. As the pro server crashed, we're waiting for the restart to happen. So for now, I'm going to be spectating this server. It looks like this server is also being disconnected for a restart as well to Coheed, as you can see there. So yep, so I believe the server has been took down both ends so that they can restart in that respect, so that both lobbies are fair. Obviously, both lobbies, you have to remember, everyone, that both lobbies are currently fighting for an overall win, so they need to make both servers exactly the same and fair in that extent. So we will be getting confirmation on how that restart is happening. So if people stay tuned into the chat, Arrow will be discussing that. So for anyone that's still here, in regards to pit stops, obviously measurements of who has pitted and who hasn't. So for anyone concerned, well, my teammate's pitted, but another team hasn't. Obviously, mandatory pit stop wasn't put on by mistake in the server error. It didn't show. So Aroy has stated to me that people who have pitted have been noted, so he does know who has pitted and who hasn't in the pro lobby. So they will still have to make a mandatory pit stop in their stop. So for anyone still spectating here, obviously we're just waiting for confirmation on the restart. I'll keep you updated as much as I can. Most of you will be able to access most of the information and what's being said within the Kyalami chat anyway, as Aroy is taking lead of that. So Aroy has posted that servers will be restarted in 10 minutes for anyone there waiting. So just please be patient. The starting order will be released soon. He is working on that for everyone, so please be patient. For anyone who did make a pit stop in there, obviously for the AM lobby, it was easier to see that as they had a mandatory pit stop showing, but not in the pro lobby, as there was an error in setting that up and it didn't show. So, but Aroy has took note who has pitted and who hasn't in pro lobby. So if you have not made a pit stop yet in pro race, you will still have to make a pit stop. Your music's playing.
Oh, all right.
like I said, to anyone out there, more information will get released. Aroy has said he will post the starting order for the restart of both lobbies. We have had to take the AM lobby down, unfortunately, as well, so that it cohedes with the Pro lobby, obviously, as they are competing against each other for time, so it's only fair that they restart at the same point, in the same positions, in that sense. I'm not sure how the gaps will work for people who had a gap and who hadn't. I'm not sure how the exact process for that, but we will get informed of that. We'll do our best to make sure that it is as fair as possible. Like I said, for people who have pitted, they won't have to pit again for the remainder of their stint. For people who haven't pitted, unfortunately, you will still have to make a pit stop. Obviously, I'm not too sure how the timings will work. Aroy has took note of the timing of where people were and etc. For the end of each stint, he will get that updated in live timing to make sure it's as accurate as possible. So we have to give him time for that, unfortunately, as there was a crash, but hopefully that gets sorted soon and that the remainder of stint 1 can proceed. So if anyone's got any questions in the chat, feel free to ask. I still have my chat up. Obviously, I'm still here. I'm still waiting for the race to restart, as everyone is eager to see it go back underway and commence. Still waiting for the information on how the restart will happen. So for the guy that's asking for the role, Tyler, tell him if he goes into Kyalami info, there's a post that Lakatos put saying that you need to click the South African flag, and it will give you permission role to access the Kyalami chat. It is in the info bit. He is a Kyalami participant, so he should already have role. He already has the role anyway. He's a Kyalami participant, so he's already done it.
The chat room is which one?
Just normal Kyalami chat. But he already has the participant role on it, so he's already hit the thing in I was a Kyalami, so he will not have to click that to get access to the chat. For anyone who is here right now, I will be taking a short break. I'm going to take this opportunity to go to the toilet and get a drink. So I will be back in a moment. Guys, Tyler will still be here to talk to anyone that has any questions or to update anyone with info that is happening in the chat. I'll be back in a moment.
Yep. Alrighty, you guys. Sorry, I am still here. I apologize for the lack of speaking. We're trying to get things sorted out on the best way to restart. It looks like the lobbies are getting back up and running. Tommy should be back any moment. We are just sorting out the grid ordering. Looks like AM lobby might be up right now. But again, we are sorting out pro lobby stuff, so give us one moment. We are working on it. I do apologize for the delay once again, but nevertheless, we do appreciate your time and patience. There should be some links in chat. I can get shared here in just a moment once the admins get back from resetting the lobbies. Looks like there was a little technical error for anyone who was not here. It looks like the server crashed. I would assume they are taking on some pretty big loads considering the Xbox community for ACC unfortunately isn't that big yet as the game has just rolled out. Hasn't even been out for I think over half a year yet on Xbox. So 505 is building up the support for the actual lobby structuring, getting all the functionality that we can. But for the time being, as we sort stuff out, I hope everybody is doing well this afternoon, this morning, this night, evening, wherever you are in the world. Again, this is a 9-hour race for charity. We are donating all proceeds to American Red Cross for COVID-19 relief. So any donations are greatly appreciated. We will be also posting receipts after the race is done for how much we have actually been able to raise and the donation receipt as well. So everybody knows at the end of the day that their money went the place that they wanted to donate it. So let's see here. Looks like they are getting server back up. Also, since we are having some technical issues, anybody who is watching who is going to be participating in the Kyalami 9-hour race today, I am resetting my server right now. It is a public lobby. It will be set to Stint 2. It is a 30-minute race on ×2 multiplier, so it will be basically half a stint. Again, it is Stint 2 practice lobby. If you search LSR, you should, and then a space afterwards, I apologize, LSR and then space, you should be able to search that. It should pop up as a public lobby. And then from that point, you can join, get in there, and get some practice in before the actual stint starts. It will be up here in 1 minute. I am restarting the server now. Okay, the server is restarting right now and should be up afterwards. And you should be able to hop into a Stint 2 practice lobby. Weather should be the same. For the most part, everything should be the same. So, hopefully Tommy gets back here pretty soon. I know he's been screaming at you guys for what feels like forever, I'm sure. But we love our boy Tommy. He might be really good at racing games, but the boy's technological IQ isn't there. But again, we do appreciate your patience. Tommy should be back here shortly, and after that, should be able to get everything back up.
Is it back up?
Looks like they're, yeah, so they just reset it. It looks like Pro is getting back up. They're restarting 50 minutes. Looks like there will be a, sorry, I'm just reading through this. I apologize. I'm not like a savant genius multitasker. Okay. Yeah, it looks like they're still sorting out the grid. So I apologize. We do have a lot of competitive folks in the pro lobbies, so everybody's making sure that they are in the correct place. Again, I will make one more announcement before I dip out of here. I think Tommy is back now. Um,
Yeah.
However, again, before I go, if you go to the server listing and the multiplayer option and go ahead and search LSR with a space afterwards, you should populate my lobby. It is a stint to practice. There is 9 minutes of quality left, so anybody who wants to practice, go ahead and get in here. It is a 30-minute race on ×2 multiplier, so it will be give or take half a stint. So again, come join, get some people in here. It looks like Diesel's in here. A few people from Stint 2 are already in here. So, alrighty. I'm going to go ahead and dip on out. I wish all the boys good luck on their stints. I will be back later. However, you guys may see me here in a stream pretty soon.
Yep, so we will see Tyler later. He will be joining me after his stint in Stint 3. He will be taking the lead commentate for Stint 3 whilst I will be there in the background for him. And then I will leave Stint 3 shortly, shortly before Stint 4, so I can practice myself for Stint 4. We're just waiting for them to go through a little qualification phase there so that they can get into their grid orderings. Once they are then go in, they'll do the remainder 50 minutes of the race, which I will then join once they're rolling, and we'll continue back with the action. I will be scrolling through the chat myself, so if anyone's got any questions and they're unsure about anything, please feel free to ask. If they want anything updating, want any links to the PayPal or anything like that for the donation or to the live timing, then we can get that sorted out for you, no problem. So just patience from you people whilst we wait for the lobby to get up and going. Obviously they're still in that qualifying stage. We've got to wait for them to hit that race before we can join, otherwise the game freezes. So for anyone wondering, there has been an updated list in Pro correction for people's standings. Blue Flame was in second, but he had come out of the pit back into fifth, so he has now been dropped from second to fifth correctly, as that was the position he was in after he made his pit stop when the server crashed. So what will happen in regards to how the first half of the race ended? We have took into account the length that they raced in before the server crash for both lobbies. So say they raced an hour, 60 minutes. We have took note of how many laps each person has done. Camera and Manta will then update the live timings so that say 50 minutes has ended and they do say 40 laps, for example. We will then add whatever laps they had completed. I believe Trevor had done around 42 laps or 43 off the top of my head. So we will say add 43 on to 40 so that he's done 83 laps, and then the two times will be added for both lobbies of the same time for the first half of the stint. So then it basically comes down to how well they push themselves to the second half, as well as how well they did in that first half of the race. So that will be taken into note. That will be updated. So once the live timing has been updated, Arroy and Manto will be on top of that as soon as possible. As soon as these lobbies have got started, they will be on top of that and making sure that both lobbies are live timings have been updated, as we just wait another few minutes here for them to get going so we can spectate them. So there has been a change in the lineup. So Brokey can no longer make the remainder of the stint for Stint 1. So his teammate who is racing Stint 2 will be finishing off Stint 1 for him, which will be Master Miska. So he will be taking over from Brokey in that team. So for the drivers out there, they will be going into the voice channel and they will be told when they can go, so that they obviously create that gap, a fair gap for people that will be in that lobby. As they are just finishing the qualifying stage, as I spectate can the stream, so I know when I can join. It's not not a shambles. It's just it's all we can do. Like this could have happened to anyone, anything on this game. Unfortunately, like I said before at the start of the stream, this isn't Forza, so unfortunately we don't have private lobbies that are just fully accessible, that are served by the game themselves, by Turn 10, for example. This is what we have to deal with. We have to be thankful that we have this game and that we can do this kind of thing. So, it's the best that we can do. Obviously, it creates fun racing once it's working, so we can't not doubt that. Yeah, so you're doing well, Quino, in the fourth lobby. Seeing you pushing the Audi, you had Blue Flame right behind you. You had a good little battle going on. Unfortunately, I wanted to see what would have happened after Blue Flame did his overcut on the pit stop on you. Just got to keep pushing, ain't you? Keep pushing and try and catch Trevor up. So for anyone tuning in, we're just waiting to join the pro lobby so that we can get underway. We have to wait for the pre-race timer to end before we can join, otherwise the spectate feature does not work properly, and we don't want that because otherwise the game will crash. So just bear one moment whilst I wait for that. Obviously, we want all the drivers to hit drive so that no one starts from the pit for the restart of the race. So for the restart, there will be a 50-minute sprint, basically. And we'll see what goes on from there. Like I said before, the overall timing of both stints will be added together from the first half of the first stint and the second half. So we have taken into consideration how many laps were done and the time that the server crashed, and then we've taken that from the AM lobby at the same point, the results from that same point. So that's going into the second part of the stint, and once it has finished, we can then calculate how many laps have been done in that said lobby for the two halves of the race and the total time, and with the laps combined we can then get an overall result for that stint going on to the following stints. That'll be done for both processes of both Pro and AM lobby, so that it is fair as possible, as obviously, as I've said before, they are competing for overall position. So I will be able to join the Pro lobby shortly in around 10-15 seconds, as they're about to get moving on the rolling part. So good luck to you, Quino, however you pronounce it. I'm still not 100% on that one, but we'll be joining the Pro lobby shortly. So thank you for everyone who has stayed patient whilst we do this restart process. And so I enter the wrong password as always. I always forget it's the wrong one. There we go, so we're joining now, so hopefully we can get straight back into the action and see what's happening on track. So they're currently doing a short formation lap with no UI so that they can reorder the grid there, so they won't get any penalties for going forth and back on track. Yep, so what we have done is, like you said, both servers have been recoded to 50 minutes. So they will both effectively get the same race time in that sense. So how do I explain it? So they will reorganise as they need to now. They are in a chat, sorting out positions so they know where to go. So how do I explain it? So both Pro and AM lobby are currently redoing 50 minutes restart right now. We have taken the point where the server crashed. Let's say there was an hour 10 minutes remaining. We have also noted at what point the positions were in AM lobby an hour 10 minutes in, so we know that they're at the exact same point. So we've found a benchmark, so we take results from that benchmark, so an hour 10 minutes into the race, so 60 minutes for example. So we know that, say, Pro lobby did 43 laps, Trevor was in this position, he'd lapped this people, whatever. And say AM lobby had done 42 laps because maybe they had not crossed the line yet. They were a lap behind in pace. But we've taken that into account. That's how far they were into the race at that point. We are then just restarting it from 50 minutes and adding those two together. So it may not result into the same as what could happen in Stint 2, but as long as both AM and Pro lobby are running the same amount of time altogether, then it is effectively equal in that sense. Because we have taken note of how far they got. You don't understand, right? So say the server had crashed, right? I think the server crashed with about an hour left into this stint. So what we will do is we will take the notes that happened 60 minutes into that stint, and then, so like I said, Trevor completed 60 odd laps, or say 40 laps for example, and it took him an hour to do that. Yeah, it is a bit complicated, but it is the process that works. It's the only way we can equally... I understand how it is. I'm not very wording it very well, but we have thought of the method and gone through it and different methods that we could do for restart, so we know what we're doing. Just trust us. Trust the people who are sorting the timing sheets out. But effectively, like I said, it will just be whatever point the server crashed in, we will take the notes for that. Obviously, you can see some people have been disqualified here in this race, so it looks like there will be another restart in this pro lobby. So more delays ahead. Yeah, I think that's because they went ahead and crossed the line on track, so... Not too sure why they are there. Yeah, I don't think some people read the rules. They obviously carried on in a sense. I think everyone at this point is supposed to be behind Trevor. He was initially on pole, so he would sit on what is considered there's a white line by the pit stop. We said that if everyone stops there because there's no UI, you can't get a penalty for staying there. So obviously the people who have been disqualified are the people who carried on. So that is unfortunately what's happened there. So I believe they will restart that then, in that sense. Obviously, we just have to be patient and see how it plays out. I'm not in the voice chat myself, so I don't exactly know what's happening. So they are currently in a Discord voice chat with the both Arroy and Mantares. One is organising Pro, one's organising AM, and they are basically telling everyone where they need to be and where they need to go. So they're not in voice chat, they're in a channel on Discord that all the drivers are currently in together.
Go, go, go.
So for anyone who's still sat there waiting, obviously we're going to wait for this session to end, and then we'll go into the pre-race. Obviously everyone has now rejoined. Yeah, I just notified that the race was started with 40 minutes. I think that was settled wrong. I think it was supposed to be 50. Okay, so I will have to reload the game here shortly as it will freeze for me, so just bear with me one moment, everyone. So thank you for everyone that is staying patient as we load the game back up, and we will be rejoining the restart. So the pro lobby has currently got into the pre-race timer stage. I'm just waiting for the pre-race timer to finish so that I can then join the lobby, so that we can make sure that they are all set up in order and correct positions, so that it is all fair and equal. So obviously, as you can see, pro lobby, am lobby got off to a good start. They have only got 35 minutes remaining of the 50, so they were set up correctly, that server. Obviously, we'll get the pro lobby going soon. Hopefully, we can get that underway so that everything is synced up and we can get the overall timings done and get ready for stint 2. So there's only a minute and a half remaining till we can join the lobby. So for anyone who is tuned into the stream right now, thank you for your patience. Obviously, this is a charitable cause, this race and this whole event of 9 Hours of Kyalami. If anyone would like to donate, we have a PayPal Gmail that I can post into the chat for anyone who wants to donate. I can also post a live timing spreadsheet if anyone would like to see any official timings after the previous stage before the server had crashed. Obviously, that will be updated as much as possible between the stints, so people are aware of what's going on and who's in what position and how well each team is doing. So just 30 seconds remaining before I can join the lobby. Okay, so we're finally joining the lobby now. Hopefully this is a success. So you can see the cars are lining up in order there. So you got Trevor on pole. You have Archmaid in second place. So I will bring up the live timing doc now so that I can see the correct standings that were posted in the chat. Bring that up now, so I can make sure that they are also in a correct order. So we should have Trevor on pole. We should then have Axel in second place. Let's get confirmation of that. So he is further back on the grid there, showing He should be besides Trevor right now from what I can see on the standings. You have Archmaid in third, which is correct, he is behind Trevor. You then have Quino, who should be in fourth place. He looks like he's just there snuck in. You should then have Blue Flame in fifth place. Let's have a look at him. So he is currently he is in fifth place. I believe Quino needs to be on the right hand side, not the left hand side, from what I can see. Then you got Lactos in sixth place. Spectate him. So he looks like. So they should be, yes, so that's correct. They should be in single file there. Obviously, I'm sure they'll reorganise that once they actually get moving, as it is ghosted. So you should have then GPR Wheezy in eighth. Yep. So that looks alright. So Wheezy, Arca. Yep. GRT The Rock. Yeah, that's fine. As they slowly move off there. So it looks like they've got themselves into order. It looks quite good there, looking through it and then looking at the cars, numbers. So they look like they're all in order there as they finally get underway.
Green light, go, go, go.
So as they finally cross the line there, Trevor takes the lead into turn one. Obviously there'll be no overtaking going into turn one for safety reasons. As they go through cleanly there, no incidents as of yet. We'll go further back the field, see how the back end of the field are getting on. As Trevor now regains the lead on the grid orderings, going through the first sector. As Trevor has already built up a 1.1 second lead, so he took advantage of that early on. He wants to keep that distance to keep his security in his position. As Blue Flame has already moved up into fourth place, unless he was supposed to be in fourth and Quino in fifth. Not 100% on that, but that is how it is at the moment. Doesn't seem to be a change up in standings yet at the moment. Obviously, Master Miska has covered in for Brokey in the Ferrari, as Brokey can no longer finish the remainder of the stint. As we go on board here, we'll go back up to the front of the field as you've got Archmaid on the back end of Axel as he's trying to warm his tyres up there going down the straight. Obviously they were sat stationary on the thing, so their tyre pressures are going to be quite lower. As you can see, the track is currently 30 degrees. They go around turn one nice and safely there. Take the back end of the field so we can keep a good action shot of turn one there. Make sure there are no collisions. Looks nice and clean and safe so far in the pro lobby. Some little gaps have already seemed to have happened there. Looks like Ben has created a bit of a gap between him and Augusto. They had a little good battle earlier on in the race, but obviously Augusto has managed to finally overtaken him. See Lactos in 6th place there as he moves his way up in field. He did start the race, I think, in 17th place, so from 17th to 6th, obviously that's going very well. Yeah, so there was a bit of a mix-up, but we're going with it. I'm not too sure how the Quino Blue Flame situation was. I'm not too sure who's exactly ahead. Obviously, Blue Flame, I think, I'm not too sure where he was after he made his pit stop because the server crashed just after his mandatory pit stop. Obviously, none of these drivers, obviously there will be a little bit of a mix-up in positions due to the fact that there won't be people who had already made their pit stop won't have to then make it again, and people who haven't won't have to pit. Unfortunately, that's what we're going to have to do, but we will make sure that a mandatory pit stop is forced in place so we know if there is a crash in the stint 2 that drivers have made their pit stop or not. So Blue Flame obviously in between Archmaid and Arquino here as they come on to lap 2 of the race. Trevor is currently leading, going on to lap 2. Obviously, if anyone's got any more questions or wants to know any more information, feel free to ask in chat, or if you want me to spectate a specific person, any fanboys out there, you want to spectate your teammate. As we see, Mercedes-Benz AMG has already gone into the pit here. Not too sure why. Oh, he's got damage there, so there has been a collision there somewhere, unless he has made a mistake somewhere on track. Someone can give me confirmation that that will be greatly appreciated. But as you can see, he's got major damage to his car there, and that's definitely a reason to pit. Unfortunately, depending on how long that pit stop will take him, hopefully not too long, it doesn't put him a lap behind to Trevor. As Trevor comes up to the hairpin at the top of the hill in the mid-sector. We'll go back onto Arquino here as we follow this trail of cars. As a little battle there between Archmaid and Blue Flame. Is that correct? So Blue Flame has gotten ahead of Archmaid there. That's very interesting as they come down the hill going into Sector 3 there. Little two-way battle there between, from what I can see, Arquino and a Bentley there. So it looks like he's also lost out to Lakatos there. So Lakatos going from 17th place to 5th position. Big step up there from the Porsche driver of Season 1 of IXRRs. Makes a little mistake there as they go too wide coming up into the yeet curb. Very safe through there between the two of them. A little collision there. Arquino makes a mistake and a big collision there. Big contact, looks like. Straight into the pit maybe. No, so Lakatos still carries on there. It's very unfortunate there. That looked like maybe, I can't really say whose fault that was. Looked like Quino lost control of his car and went into Lakatos there. That is very unfortunate for both drivers. Hopefully not too much damage, but looked like Lakatos got a bit of the worst end there as he got shoved into the wall. That is very unfortunate. We'll go back on board with maybe another battle that's going on track. If anyone's got any position requests on who to spectate, feel free to ask. They go through the sweeping right hander off turn 5 there, catches the grass there by riders. Not very safe things to do. As I say, Bentley there going wide in the front there. I believe that was Archmaid making a mistake there on the left hander. Is that correct? No, so that was another Bentley. That would have been Lakatos. Yes, that is correct. He does have damage, so he is struggling there in that Bentley. I would like to see if he pits for damage. You can see Quino is still in the pit, so I don't know if he's also doing a tyre change as well as repairing damage. You could also get a flat spot or bad graining from having a collision like that, so unless he is just retiring from the race, I would like to see what Lakatos does after that unfortunate event. After moving up to 5th place, he is now back down to 9th. That is very unfortunate for the IXR racing team, as everyone seems to be breezing by him as there is a three-way Bentley battle going into that turn. Obviously he will probably just easily give those positions up as his car is heavily damaged as he goes too wide again into yeet curb. Obviously he's going to give a lot of space to the car in front this time out, as he does go into the pit there, as Arquino has left the pit then and done his pit stop as he comes out a lap behind another Audi there. Oh, so that is actually Mercedes-Benz, so maybe they are on the same lap. We'll see when they cross the next sector here to see what the gap between those two cars is. Yep, so they are on the same lap. They are effectively a lap behind almost, as they go on lap 4 of the race. So they are actually on lap 3, Trevor is on lap 4, so they are a lap behind there, as you can see. Lakatos being one of the later cars a lap behind. So these two are battling for position, so that is interesting to see. There's a nice echo from the screaming V10s as they both come up the hill there in synchronisation. It's wide there from GRT Mercedes-Benz AMG, as Quino moves up into 19th place there. He will not be happy about that accident that he had. He'll be very upset about that. I'm sure we will know about that after the thingy. I don't think Diesel's going to be happy seeing that his teammate has made that mistake. It's okay, because from what I can see, MJ has made his place up to 11th place even after disconnecting from the first stint. Obviously he will be laps behind still in overall timing because of what happens, so he might be fighting for position on track with the other cars now, but he on overall timing, obviously due to his disconnect, I believe he was 3 laps down, which is very unfortunate. Lakatos still in the pit now as Quino crosses the line, so that will put Lakatos into last place. It's very unfortunate for that Bentley there. They will not be happy about that. I'm sure he will express his feelings after that as he is about to get away in the mighty Boatley. Obviously we'll have to give way to all the oncoming traffic unless he can keep pace here. As Trevor's made a mistake there, his Blue Flame's only half a second behind, so we'll go on board with Trevor here, see what kind of damage he has to his car. So it doesn't look like there's any damage, maybe a spin from him or a little mistake. Maybe he caught the yeet curb on the end of the last track, but Blue Flame is right behind him, so we'll have to see what happens here and see if he can keep the pressure that's on him. As they go through the winding S section here of this track, I call that the Kyalami version of the Nürburgring Schumacher S. A tight little left-right, but instead it's downhill then uphill on this version, whereas the Schumacher S is completely uphill. And you've also got Archmaid just in the background, sneaking behind the two leading cars here, just to see if any of them make another mistake here. We'll stay on board with Trevor to see if he remains to make another mistake, to see why he lost so much time last lap. Yeah, that is unfortunate what happened there. Obviously Blue Flame going a bit wide there. He might have got a track warning there. I've seen that happen a few times on myself from experience, going wide on that corner, as Trevor seems to get do a clean lap this lap. So hopefully he starts to pull away maybe a little bit now, as he's already pulled a 7/10 gap, so he has extended that gap a little bit. Maybe trying to find his recomposure after his little spin. So we'll stay on board with them just for a moment to see if anything happens, as Blue Flame gets really wide there at turn 1, which will give Archmaid a little run into him. So we'll go on board with Archmaid here. So Trevor has seemed to have found his comfortable pace again and building up that little bit of a gap again comfortably. As Alex is in 4th place, holding the fastest of the losers in a sense, as he is out just outside the podium there, but he is still shortly behind the 3.7 seconds, so any mistake that's made by the running 3 cars, that could soon change, with Wheezy a second behind and GRT the Rock 6 seconds behind them. As he goes through a car there, looks like a lapped car, maybe for an overtake there of a Bentley. We'll spectate, see who that is. So that is TX3 Riders. They go too wide there through the sweeping left-hander there. They managed to keep composure and too wide through there. As the Bentley behind them, as the Ferrari gains the advantage going through there. Augusto is sneaking in the background in his Brazilian Bentley of the green colours there. They come through the penultimate corner here, coming onto the last corner of the lap, going on to lap 7. We'll stay on board with this battle shortly just to see what happens. So go on board with Art. MJK is behind Candler. Obviously, in the first half of the stint, Candler got involved in an incident which put him into the pit after lap 1, unfortunately. But he has made his way back up to 10th place, which is very good to see. Followed by Art. MJK, like I said, he did disconnect in the first part of the stint, so he is effectively, I believe, around 3 laps down, but fighting for good position here, as every little will help towards the end of the stint. Anything could happen in any of the stints, so making up time is imperative here. What happened to Art Quino? Him and Lakatos went too wide through the penultimate corner, and it looked like he lost his control a little bit, and so did Lakatos as they tried to go too wide through that penultimate corner, which obviously we know it has a very big curb that needs to be avoided. They tried to go too wide through that corner and they had a slight tap, which led to Quino losing control of his car and Lakatos at the same time. Lakatos then went into the wall, and Quino just made contact with Lakatos a few times. Quino went straight into the pit and repaired that damage. Lakatos did it in the following lap, which is why they have both dropped back down to the field, unfortunately. So we've got on board here with Canada. There's still a little nice train of cars going through up into the S section in the middle part of the track here. Thank you for everyone who has joined the stream. Don't forget this is a charity event. For anyone who's wanting to donate, all the money will be going towards American Red Cross for COVID-19. If anyone would like a PayPal Gmail that they would like the link to donate to, feel free to ask and I can post that. I can also post the live timing. I will let everyone know once live timing has also been updated. I will check my phone now to see if there is any more information. That's the very nice looking Kyalami paint job. The South African flag on the paint job of the Mercedes there. Nice touch that SPS Automotive did there onto that car. Followed by the team colours of Art Design, which also is on the Audi, as you can see there. As Trevor builds a 2-second comfortable lead, keeping his momentum up. Followed by Blue Flame and Archmage shortly behind. Alex not too far behind them, but they are kind of pulling away from him a little bit, but he is keeping a comfortable gap to his closest rival in 5th place of GPR Wheezy. The man who qualified himself 2nd is down to 6th place, which is very unfortunate to see. As he goes through the tight hairpin there, takes a really wide line there. I don't think that benefited him at all, as he almost loses control of the car there on the exit. That's not what you want to see, but he did save that, thankfully. As Ryder seems to have benefited from this three-way battle that happened between him, The Rock and Augusto earlier on a few laps ago. Ah, that's correct. Yeah, I do remember now, yeah. Thanks for correcting me there. Archmage did get 2nd. In my head I had Axel, but I think from what I remember he moved up into 2nd during the start of Stint 1 after the race start. I do remember seeing him in 2nd place at some point. Yeah, it is unfortunate he dropped down, obviously, with any incidents that have happened. But this is racing, that will happen. But he is still going, that's the important thing. He is still pushing along to making sure that he is obviously getting as low as many laps in as possible. Can you watch the battle behind? Which battle is that precisely? You want to see your teammate? Is that what you're asking? I can do that. I'll go on board with Augusto here in the middle of these three cars as Art has caught them up. So just to inform anyone, sorry, I was just reading the channel. And for anyone who is spectating here, I have been updated that every stint will now just be 2 hours long, instead of 2 hours 15. So the races for stint 2, 3, and 4 will just be 2 hours long now, not 2 hours 15. So they are being reduced by 15 minutes. I'm not too sure what happens can there. I haven't really noticed much position change for him. As Art makes his way past Augusto there as he climbs up his way through to fight GRT The Rock. Fanboy out there, looking fire for number 87 is in 4th place there. He is currently being caught by GPR Wheezy, but Alex 15022 is keeping good pace at the moment as he moved up to 4th place from after the race start. Doing very well in that Bentley. Go back on board here with the battle for 7th place. As I said before, IMJK has overtaken Augusto and moved up to 8th place as he now chases down GRT The Rock in the Ferrari number 21. Yes, I can imagine some of you are really eager to get on track. Obviously it helps that now all races will only be 2 hours long as they go through to coming up to turn 1 here. Takes the dive on the inside there. Brakes a little bit late there and the Ferrari gets the undercut. The Rock takes the undercut back a little bit and will now get the inside. That is correct, so very unfortunate there for Art. Tried to outbrake himself there, which didn't result in a good outcome as that has allowed Augusto to catch him right back up behind and Rock has pulled away a slight bit. As they go through turn 7 there. One's turn 8, 9. Yeah, that was a good counter-attack. As soon as I think he just wanted to focus on getting the right braking point. That's the thing when you're trying to dive someone on the inside, you always lose track of that braking marker. You can't see where your braking point is on the right hand side of the braking distance board, so it's easily a mistake that most people make when it comes to braking into hard braking zones like that. But he has caught him back up now. He's right in the back end of them and he almost clips him there. He has to hold onto the brakes a little bit longer, but gets a good exit coming through that corner as they come up to the penultimate corner. Kind of misses the apex there, goes really wide but easily recovered. The nice and stable Mercedes. He dives on the inside, almost there. Ferrari has to give him space as he looks like he's about to get the overtake there as Mercedes has a much better exit through corners. So as they touch coming down the straight. As it almost taps the Mercedes there as they go through the corner. I don't know if there was any contact there, but Art kind of squeezes him out there rightfully. Coming on through turn 5 here, the Sweden right hander obviously can't count Augusto out here. He's in the background as Candler also catches up to them. As Trevor still leads the race comfortably with Blue Flame only 4 seconds behind at the moment. We'll go on board with GRT the Rock here as they come up to the hairpin here, as he flashes his lights at Art MJK there.
Still a long way to go.
Nice clean line through there. Obviously you can see the Rock is very angry there from what happened on the lap before, from the overtake of Art MJK. So it kind of gets a little bit wobbly there on the exit of the hairpin. I mean, at the end of the day, if you want to push someone off track, you can rightfully do that. If you have the line for the track position, as long as you give them space to stay on track, there's nothing wrong with squeezing someone across the track. I mean, look at Formula 1 drivers. When they exit a corner, they will run off to the exit of the corner as early as possible to block the other car off so that they can't get a run on them. That is rightfully rare within racing. Robin is racing at the end of the day. This is GT racing. I know the game physics aren't the best, but I mean, I had a race with Woodsy the other day in a stint practice, and he was bump drafting me down the straight, and I didn't get any damage. It didn't spin me out, but we went side by side for a corner. We had a little bit of collision, little side tap, but you know, yeah, fair enough. It gave us 3 seconds damage, but none of us spin out. Robin's racing when you're going down the straight as Rock takes a nice slide through that corner there. As Art seems to pull away a little bit there. Obviously, GRT is holding Augusto up here. He's going to get that Bentley down his backside, giving him no room to breathe, as Canlo is still shortly following them, so anything could happen here toward to the Rock. I am being real, even if they are beside. I've been in a lot of racing positions. I'm not afraid to go side by side with someone for any corner in any position, even if I am tapping them. It's part of racing, I guess, isn't it? Robin's racing. If a crash happens, then yeah, then you're at fault. But there's nothing wrong with you trying. I squeeze people off track if I have to. I do it to Trevor all the time. It'll be a man that'll tell you that. Trevor can be half a second quicker than me, but if I've got the track position on him and I have to be defensive on him, I'll force every part of that track so that he can't overtake me. So they go through turn 1 here. Cameron now putting the pressure on Augusto there for the battle for 9th place. Looks like Rock's going to get a little bit of leadway here to cool down as they go through the laps. Looks like a comfortable lead so far for Trevor, as Blue Flame shortly follows 4.7 seconds behind, and Ashmead 4.4 seconds behind, as there's 22 minutes remaining of the race. I'll go on board with Augusto here as requested, so we can spectate him being battled by SPS Candler. As he makes a little mistake there. Oh no, he's just weaving there just to be defensive. Thought he made a little mistake on the exit of that corner then, but it's just weaving around just to keep the defensive position, as he's built a little bit of gap from Candler there. It's very hard going through that little S section. I always have to myself back off and ease through the corner, so that as everyone has different braking points going into the S section of the track there. Yeah, so how ANN will work is they will continue straight on to Stint 2, and Stint 2 will start for Pro, so they won't be coheeded and in sync, but they will still be running the same race time, and obviously it will be the same, just they will finish at different points. As just in the background, Axel's also catching them up in his Audi from FCT. He's putting some good laps in there, as you can see. He's catching them up slowly, so this could eventually become a 4-way battle. Again, as previously a couple of laps ago when Art was part of that battle with these three. So we're now seeing a domino effect as the battle continues. As GPR Wheezy is currently half a second behind Axel, as I can see looking on the timing, from 4th to 5th place. So we've got on board with that battle just for the moment, just to see how that's getting on. Looks like a little gap there. Not close enough yet to put any pressure on Alex there. Little battle going on here as they come through turn 1. Wide line there from Augusto. It looks like Axel's got a big benefit out of that. Getting into position as they touch and goes wide there. And jumps over the curb there and also collides with him on the exit. That is very unfortunate. I don't think Axel could do anything about that. He lost control of his car prior to going over the grass and coming back on. I don't think there was much he could do about that, unfortunately. Which created Augusto to spin there. It's very unfortunate. Candler gets the benefit out of that, as you see Ben in the background catching up to Augusto for another battle once again on this track. It's a very unfortunate accident there. I don't think there was much to be done. They both kind of went too wide through the corner there. It's a hard corner to go too wide on. The Mercedes can run, the Bentley, sorry, can run on the inside of that curb to give any space if necessary, but the Audi obviously not as planted over curbs with its concrete suspension. So if you want clarification on the AM class, I know the AM lobby is also being streamed. I know live timing is being updated as it stands. I can post a link for live timing. Currently, AM, Trevor is currently in the lead overall in Pro as it stands. From what it states, three AM teams are in 2nd, 3rd and 4th. Obviously, once these two lobbies have finished, we'll then get a correct overall timing of where everyone is in correct positions and total distance. But currently as it stands, Trevor, SPS Automotive Pro, are in the overall lead of the race. Currently in the Pro lobby though, obviously Blue Flame is currently 2nd. I can post the link to the AM stream. AM didn't have a 40-minute race. There was a bit of miscommunication there. It had 40 minutes remaining because their race got started underway 10 minutes faster also. Well, 15 minutes, 20 minutes. So they did run a 50-minute timer. It's just that they got their lobby sorted underway. Yep, so I can see that Trevor had been given the 15-second penalty there, which is obviously fair for crossing the white line. It's obviously part of the rule, we can't cross the white line there, so that has been the penalty awarded for that. Obviously, I'm not too sure how that will play out. Obviously, he is only 5 seconds ahead of Blue Flame right now, but he was 20 seconds into the lead before the server crashed prior. So obviously, once all that is added up, as Blue Flame has a little drift through the turn 3 there. Obviously, effectively, I believe SPS will still be ahead in that sense because of how far of a gap he had before the server had crashed. So, Stint 2 is open for AM drivers, so any of you AM drivers out there, if you are participating in Stint 2 for your team, you are now able to join the practice session before the start of the race. Obviously that will run ahead whilst we continue the remaining 13 minutes of the Pro lobby, and then once this is finished, the second lobby for Pro lobby will open. Oh, his Blue Flame goes a little bit wide there, so we'll go on board with our MJK here. He seems to have caught TX3 Riders up going on to lap 22 of the race into turn 1 there. So Art's putting some laps in. He has got some good pace. I know I've seen in practice he can get low 40s on laps as he almost goes through the Bentley there going as Bentley catches the curb and a little contact, unfortunately, as the Bentley runs wide there. That's very unfortunate. I'm not too sure whose exact fault that was. I don't think much could happen as Riders caught the sausage curb on the outside of turn 2 there. So that's a little bit unfortunate. As you can see, GRT The Rock has now made his way up back behind TX3 Riders, so TX3 Riders losing a lot of time here after that mistake, as you've still got the battle behind them. Looks like Candler has moved back into front of Axel after that battle they were having with Augusto. Looks like Augusto has lost out a little bit. Axel shortly behind the corner that Candler has just gone through, so a little bit of time has been lost there. So thank you for anyone who is tuning in to this charity 9-hour Kyalami race. This race is in aid for American Red Cross for COVID-19, so all money donated will go towards that cause. Kander is on the back side of the rock here in that number 21 satin red Ferrari as they come down the hill to the sweeping left-hander, which can be a little bit bumpy. So the AM drivers will now be getting into their voice chat to prepare for Stint 2 in AM Lobby. So anyone who is watching the stream, please tune into the Discord voice call if you are participating in Stint 2 for the AM Lobby, please. Yeah, the rock is quick considering it's on controller. I use the controller too, sadly. It's not very fun in some cars. I'm not a big fan of the AMG, which had the when I take over Trevor in Stint 4. I'll be having some fun on the controller. Kind of goes a little bit wide there going through that yeet curb. It's a good little battle going on here. I'm just trying to focus on what's going on. Sorry guys. I'm getting updated with messages on my phone all the time through Discord, so I'm having to multitask there. But you can see Kander going through the S section here, still putting the pressure on GRT the Rock as they. Yeah, see, I can't really afford to get a wheel, so I have no choice to be on the controller. But to be fair, controller is still good on this game. I feel like I lose out on trail braking. Like I have really good battles with Trevor in our league races, and even Woodsy. We seem to be like for pace in both race pace and in hot laps. Like we have good hot lap battles all the time. So I just feel like I just lose out on the controller on trail braking. That's the only time that I feel like controller suffers in that sense. You just can't be as precise, but I feel like if you get the right controller settings, which I feel like I've found comfortable ones for me, like you can do really good laps. Like you can get low 38s around here comfortably in a hot lap, even 37s on a good lap. It's just obviously finding the comfort zone with the controller that suits you. Obviously with a wheel, it's different. People have their own force feedback preferences. With a controller, it's more your steering sensitivity and stuff like that, how quick your steering lock is and stuff. Which I guess you can on the wheel as well, but obviously it's different for car, as every car has its own steering lock. On controller, it's just you just have your steering lock. You just turn. As we see going further back the field there, we've got MCR Farron just right behind FCT Ben in the as it actually overtaking him as they go through turn 1 there, coming through turn 2 and 3 sequence. So MCR Farron has moved up to 12th place there, which will now be updated on the in-game timings as they cross through to Sector 2. As we see, Blue Flames put some good laps in here. He's kindly slowly caught Trevor up there. They were 5.5 seconds on lap before. Trevor obviously just cruising now for the remainder of the race, as he did receive a 15-second penalty for cutting the white line. As there's a yellow flag there at the end of the sector. We'll see who that is. Looks like someone within the middle of the pack. Looked like Candler there, maybe. It looks like he's got a bit of damage on his car there. Maybe a mistake from Candler. Exiting that corner. Is that damage on the front of his car? I'm not too sure. It looks like a little scrape, but looks like nothing major. Hopefully nothing that concerns him too much, as it is the end of the race, so he just needs to keep on chugging along. As you can see, his bonnet is moving up a little bit, so maybe he had a collision with someone or a little spin into the wall. As there is only 3 minutes remaining of this race, going on to almost lap 28 of this 15-minute stint. If anyone's got any more questions or concern, please feel free to ask in the chat or at me on Discord as Alamar Top Secret. I will also be your host for Pro Lobby for Stint 2 and 3. And then I will be taking over SPS Automotive Pro from Trevor in Stint 4. Next will be Stint 2, which will be taken over by SPS Tyler. For example, Art MJK will be taken over by Diesel. So Diesel will take over for the Art Mercedes team. As that mighty AMG goes through the hairpin there, coming down the hill. Based on when he will cross the lap, next lap should be the last lap, so we'll see that when they cross the line. So Blue Flames managed to keep good pace here, as he's only still 5 seconds behind Trevor. So it looks like this lap will now be the last lap of the race, as Trevor comes onto lap 29, the last lap. Followed by Blue Flame. Archmaid in 3rd place, keeping a comfortable gap between himself and Blue Flame. So they'll be happy with that progress of the 2 stints. EXR will be ecstatic that they managed to move up to 2nd place in the stint. But obviously, the overall timing of the 2 halves of this stint will be combined. So effectively, I'm not too sure where Blue Flame will be. I know SPS, from what I can understand, will still be in 1st, even with the 5-second penalty, as he had a 20-second lead at the end, or before the crash happened. So Trevor had a comfortable lead that he made up going into the server crash. Spectate the leader as he goes onto the final, goes through the final lap. As he goes, we'll move on to Axley as he just overtakes Riders there. So maybe another mistake from Riders as they go onto the lap. Maybe he caught the yeet curb. Not really much battle going on track as people go on to the final lap of the race. Lactos obviously moved up into 19th place from 20th after an incident with Art Quino earlier on.
The leader has finished the race.
So Trevor has now finished the race, shortly followed by Blue Flame. Obviously all drivers will need to stay in the lobby so I can get the live timing screenshot. So I'd appreciate if all drivers were to go back to the pit as they cross the line there. As obviously Arquino was the fastest, or the last car to get lapped, in 15th place. So we'll just wait until all the drivers cross the line here. We'll keep an eye on the live timing screen here. So 50 minutes and 12 seconds and 30 laps for Trevor. So we just wait for the remainder of the cars here to cross the line. Still plenty of cars to finish. So up comes the next car to cross the line. Just a few more cars to then cross the line. As long as all cars stay on track, I'll keep this up so anyone who is finishing, if they leave, there's still time in there. So I'm just waiting for 12th place to cross the line there. 12th, 13th and 14th to still cross the line. So all cars have now crossed the line. I can take the screenshot up to 12th place. And then 12th place up to last place. So that has now been recorded, so that can be seen. So to sum up stint 1, it was won by Trevor, followed by Blue Flame. Obviously there was a restart, so we have to bear in mind that once that is adjusted, the official timings of both combined will be put together. So I'll just leave that up for everyone to see so they can see the finishing results of the end of that stint. So that has summed up the end of that session. So I will be quitting the race and having to reload the game now. Thank you for tuning in. I will be still hosting for you, so I just need to reload the game whilst we wait for stint 2 of Pro Lobby to start up. So just bear with me, everyone. So I'm just reloading the game now. Thank you for staying tuned in, guys, whilst we wait for the second stint for Pro Lobby to get up and running. So to anyone who is in the pro lobby who is taking part in Stint 2, sorry, I thought my mic was me then. The lobby has now been opened for people to join in preparation for Stint 2. Make sure you join the Discord voice call so that you are aware of where you will be starting. Thank you for anyone that is still tuned in. Obviously, we'll be getting into the server shortly, so just please be patient whilst we get that set up. If anyone would like to join me spectating for Stint 2, feel free to ask and I can get you in the party if you want to come and say a few words whilst the second stint happens in Pro Lobby. Obviously, I just need to wait to join until the end of qualifying so that I don't have to constantly reload the game. So I will just sit there and wait until it has started and they are underway. Number 87, I believe that was it Alex in the Bentley number 87, if I remember off my head? So thank you for any of the viewers that are still there. We're just shortly waiting to be able to join the server. Obviously, there's still 4 minutes left of the pre-race qualifying session, just to kill the timer off. There will then be a 3-minute pre-race timer, which I will then be able to join after that. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, as we are coming up to the start of stint 2, I'm going to end the stream and restart it so that it clips that stint, so that then people can watch that back for the remainder 50 minutes. So just bear me one moment, people, while I reset the stream.